of Ohio and won, and an underdog at San Diego again last time out 2 weeks ago, and an underdog today. Oh, how they've relished that role. 3rd and 7. Blitz, and Chester unable to hook that one as Randy Logan, the safety, came in on Plunkett.
That's the kind of defensive change that we had to look for the Philadelphia Eagles to make. And you see how close it brought them to the brink of disaster. That pass just off the fingertips of Chester, but the pressure obviously there on Plunkett. They may have to do more and more of that to get him in trouble.
A field goal try here, long, but if successful, would give the Raiders a 3-touchdown lead. Barr, it'll be a 46-yard attempt. His longest this year was 48. Looks good. Is good. Chris Barr, 46-yard field goal, and the Raiders story continues. 4:35 left, 3rd quarter.
I have a headache right now. I'd like to pound it out of there.
While the Raider fans celebrate a 24-3 lead, the Eagles can only hope they'll come to form on the season. They've been a good second-half team. Barr to Campfield, 15, 25, and he's out to the 39-40-yard line, but a flag is down. Chris Barr made the tackle, the man who kicked off for Oakland. Now let's check the flag back at the 24. Perhaps another Eagle mistake. Remember the last kickoff was taken out of bounds at the 10-yard line by Bunting to put the Eagles in a hole.
No team in football spends more time grilling and preparing on special teams, offense and defense. And I'm sure one of the things that will frustrate Dick Vermeil and his staff when they sit down and look at these films are the mistakes they've made this game.
Personal foul on the run back, clipping number 52.
It's that old saying that playing within yourself, trying to do too much, can lead to trouble. Ray Phillips, most unhappy. You saw the visual that the Eagles have been dominant in there it is, in the second half. And no team, well, only one other team scored as many points in the 4th quarter as Philadelphia this year. So Ron Jaworski will try to tune it up. But there's a lot of silent and solemn faces on the Eagle sideline. Jaworski pumping and then going to Montgomery. He's open. Just off his fingertips at the 45. Davis and Owens drifting back. A play they worked on hard all week long.
Within inches. It's a game of inches. And when it goes against you, sometimes those inches are in the opposite direction. Dick, in 18 previous Super Bowl games, only one team has scored more points than the Oakland Raiders have today. It's the Eagles scored now 24.
That's on its Super Bowl. I think Verlin, excuse me for it's 18 games starting for this one going back the last 18 Eagle games. Only the Cowboys have scored as many as 24. It's an interesting point, and so Philadelphia definitely with its heels in the hole. Second and 10, Jaworski. Oh, almost caught for safety. Wide open is Smith. He's got it. First down at the 45 of Oakland. Charlie Smith with that big mask to protect his broken jaw, and Jaworski just did elude Mike Davis, who had designs on a safety.
Clock at the bottom indicating the amount of time Jaworski has. It's a blitz, an all-out blitz. Mike Davis coming for the safety position, jumps and has Jaworski right on the line. But Jaworski plays it cool, takes all the time he has, and rifles a perfect shot. Had he been able to get that one a little bit further, if Charlie Smith had caught that in full stride, he may have gone all the way.
Well, let's see if that's the play that gets the Eagles rolling. A rookie. His first carry. Ambitious at that to the 41. 1-yard line before Browning could ride him down. Harrington from Jackson State, second-round pick of the Eagles.
The first down success of these two teams, very different one from the other. We talked to you earlier about the low average for the Eagles. The Raiders, on the other hand, 6.2. They've averaged that on first down. That means that they have all the options on those second down situations. It's been a very frustrating day for the Eagles. They certainly need to get something out of this drive, get down and get 7 points on the board.
Harrington out and Wilbert Montgomery back in with Harris lined up at fullback. Montgomery to the 37-yard line. Matt Millen and Bob Nelson with the tackle. It'll be short of the first down by a long 2 yards.
A very big third down situation here. One that the Eagles desperately need to convert on.
Trailing 24-3, Philadelphia late in the third quarter. Montgomery, second effort, first down. He was able to drive inside the 35 before Bob Nelson made the tackle.
Talk about a good back, making yardage after he's hit. Look at where Montgomery takes the first hit, right there, about 2 yards ahead of where that first down needed to be made. He simply surged for it. And now straight down from the top. Again, watch how far he's hit in the backfield, right there. Simply gathers himself, surges over the line of scrimmage for the first down.
First down at the 34. Carmichael slotted right, Smith wide right, far side is Parker. No, that's Montgomery to the left side. Inside goes Harris before Bob Nelson makes another tackle after short yardage. Some of the Eagle fans didn't like that call with less than 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
I believe that's about 5 running plays in a row, and Jaworski taking the signals from the sideline. Calls being sent in from Dick Vermeil with assistance from Sid Gilman upstairs.
See Pisarcik, number 9, the backup quarterback. Lynn Stiles, the coach. One of them, of course, the dummy signals. The other, the ones that really count.
Dick Corey also up there on the headset with Dick Vermeil. Going on in the middle of the line. I believe that ball also deflected. I think if it had been thrown on target, would not have been bounced away that way. Look at the surge on the line of scrimmage. Jaworski again. Pressure coming on him right there. Takes the pop by Dave Pear.
So it's third down and 7. A minute 15 seconds left in the third quarter. The Eagles need to score. Trail by 3 touchdowns. Triple right formation. Here comes Hendricks. Carmichael drops the ball. And the Eagles now don't need a field goal. They have to go for it.
Carmichael able to get himself open, able to break across the center, and then muffed what was an easy catch for him.
The pressure telling on the Eagles today. Raiders have played an almost flawless game, while the Eagles have been involved in turnover, penalty mistakes, and drop balls. They go for it. The 12-yard line. Boy, what a story that Parker is. He was cut by the Eagles. He came back to New Orleans, was working in the police department in the juvenile division. When Wally Henry was hurt at midseason, they went back, got Parker, and he's helped them to this Super Bowl.
They say he's amazingly cool, and he's done the kind of job for them that they needed to have done. He'll find a place to play in the NFL. Again, using the unique camera angle from the top of the stadium. Look at how he found the room between those two defenders. I think he figured maybe he'd get up and run, fool the officials a bit.
There's Sid Gilman, 69 years of age, on the right. Dick Corey on the left. Gilman's last game, he says. Louis Jamona. And he's to the 6-yard line. A gain of 6 for Jamona, who is from Utah State. He's the son of Dick Vermeil's oldest sister. Of course, gets a lot of kidding for being a relative of the head coach. They call him Woodstock. He's the smallest of the birds on this Eagle team. And that is the end of the third quarter. 15 minutes to go, unless the Eagles can score 3 touchdowns. They trail 24-3. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Olson, Len Dawson, John Brody, all our NFL 80 crew. Chuck Bednarik, Mr. Eagle, they call him. One of the many bright things that Vermeil has done in his 5 years at Philadelphia. Bring back Bednarik. He's an assistant coach. And what a figure. Remember 1960 when he tackled Jim Taylor, final play of the NFL championship, and held him down till that final second ticked off. Played both ways, offensive center and linebacker. We open the fourth quarter. Second down and a short 4. Montgomery. No gain. Mike Davis with an excellent play after it appeared that Browning was a man who forced Montgomery wide.
Had not Montgomery had such powerful legs, that would have been about a 4-yard loss. He pulled out of a certain tackle, able to get back to the line of scrimmage, slightly beyond it.
They have not been able to run the football, Merlin, and that, of course, is one of the keys as you set up this game.
Well, we must give the credit for that to a very aggressive Oakland defense.
It's interesting as we're in the fourth quarter now that only one team has been held without a touchdown in Super Bowl play. That was Miami. Montgomery again. He's going to be short. That's the 3-yard line. Burgess Owens and Matt Millen made the tackle, and that's an interesting combination. Owens let go by the New York Jets. He was their player rep, and they dealt him off for a late-round draft pick. And Millen, a defensive lineman who was drafted, a rookie, and has started every game. Offside, however, against the Raiders, and that'll be a big penalty break for Philadelphia.
Well, that'll give them a down and march half the distance to the goal. It will still be slightly short of a first down, but it will again be third down and short yardage.
And stops the clock, and we're going to watch that carefully. 14 minutes and 3 seconds left. The Eagles need the ball and need to score just about every time.
Defense number 37 was lined up in the neutral zone. 37.
You talk about playing your man tight. Lester Hayes was the man offside.
So Lester's inside. He's on the other side of the line to bump and run him.
Look at that stickum. He's got it everywhere. Helmet, the back of his pants, his ankles.
Quarterbacks love him. They get that ball back, sticks to their hand.
Back up and down.
Third and less than a yard at the 2.5. Montgomery shifting. Whoops, movement in the line. And we'll see against whom this penalty is called.
Guy Morris, number 50, the center, and you see the reaction of Dick Vermeil. After all the training and all the hours they spent together, that's a critical mistake.
It's a story everyone knows now, but for some of you who have not followed football that closely all year long, Dick Vermeil and the head coach of the Raiders, Tom Flores, were opposing quarterbacks in the late 50s when Vermeil played at San Jose State, and Flores was the head man at Pacific. And here's that penalty again.
Oh. Watch the center, number 50. It's the now that's pretty hard to go off sides as a center, but he saw the man moving forward in the line, tried to get the jump on it. Jaworski, I think, sensed the potential offsides and withheld the count.
Millen caused that penalty by his movement toward Morris. And now we're back at third down and call it 5.5. Ball at the 7-yard line. Well, that changes the whole play call. Instead of run, now Jaworski might be thinking pass.
got something to celebrate. And Vermeil chanting, "Let's go, let's go." It looked like Krefli misread that Eagles marking. He thought he was very close to the end zone. Look at the way he tries to get his feet down quickly. Did not realize he had about another 4 feet behind him.
It took the Eagles 12 plays and capped by that 7-yard throw to Krefli. 5.5 minutes for the Eagles to score. They have to be a bit quicker than that. 24-9 as the Raiders call timeout. And we'll mark that in our memory bank to see if that becomes a factor later this game. Tom Flores quizzical about the reason for that timeout. Maybe too many men on the field.
Another look at the rifle shot of the Polish rifle, Jaworski. You see Krefli tight-roping. He did think he was close to that end line. He actually had quite a bit of room.
What did that remind you of, that play, for a moment? I thought about Jackie Smith. How sorry everyone had to feel for him in the Super Bowl 13. Dick Vermeil.
An interesting emotional contrast between Dick Vermeil and a very placid Tom Flores on the other side of the line. But what an important touchdown. An opportunity now, at least, to get back into this game. They now need some very emotional and inspired play from that Eagle defense.
Now the try for point. Shara to hold for Tony Franklin. And again, for those who don't mean to be condescending at all, but some may be wondering, doesn't that hurt his foot? He doesn't kick with his toes. He kicks with the top of his foot. 24-10 the score. 13 minutes, 59 seconds left.
Makes me right, but I love a rainy night. Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Roberts!
Okay, guys, it's Miller time.
When it's time to relax, one beer stands clear. If you got the time, we've got the beer.
Ford calls Escort the world car with better ideas from around the world. Plymouth Horizon's an American car with some pretty good ideas, too. How do they compare? In an independent test, 50 Americans judged. For styling, Horizon won. For driving ease and riding comfort, Horizon won. Horizon was rated superior overall to Escort's world car, 43-7. Guess that makes Horizon the world beater. From Plymouth.
Now with 7% off the sticker price, this Horizon is $920 less than that Escort. But hurry, this is a limited time offer.
From the Louisiana Superdome, Super Bowl 15 is brought to you by the new Chrysler Corporation, with increased new car sales up over last year for the 3rd month in a row. By the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. By Hertz, where winners rent. And by Champion Spark Plug Company. Champion, world's #1 seller. So the Eagles, in a must-score situation, have. And now Tony Franklin in the Eagles huddle. And you almost wonder, that's like a batter stepping out of the box to take another sign from the coach. You may have seen a new sign. Does that indicate the Eagles might try an onside kick?
I think they called it off. Oakland up to take the onside, and I think the signal came in to kick it away, Dick.
You're right. The Raiders were up on the 45-yard line. Ira Matthews. He's trapped at the 11-yard line. So the Eagles have stopped Oakland's return deep in their own end. Louis Giamona in on the tackle again. Chalk up another for Woodstock.
Giamona, captain of the special teams, wear T-shirts. The winners of their weekly Hammer Award says, "Who's nuts?" And they go down there like wild men. Number 33, Louis Giamona. And this is the kind of play the Eagles are going to have if they're going to get themselves back into this game. They need a takeaway here. Emotionally, they need to take that ball away from the Oakland Raider offense.
Talk about that Who's Nuts award. They even awarded one week to Sid Gilman. They said, at 69, Coach Sid, you got to be nuts to be here this long. Endearing tribute to a man that they love. Van Egan, remember what like the Raiders did 2 weeks ago in San Diego when the Chargers challenged. The Raiders had 2 long 5-minute-plus drives, and Van Egan was the key there. That's what they're trying to do, kill the clock. There's 13.5 minutes left.
First down success indicates control of the line of scrimmage. And in the third quarter, the Raiders averaged 11.7 yards per first down attempt.
That was an 8-yard carry by Van Egan on first down. Van Egan, look at him plow forward. First down again for the Raiders. And each first down becomes not an idle statistic, but a chance for 4 more downs to chew up time. And now there's 13 minutes left.
We talked about the fact that the Oakland Raiders have started to go more and more to the right side of their line. But they still love to go back to their veterans, Shaw and Upshaw and Shell. They've gone there twice in a row at the beginning of this drive.
Well, watch that left side, 78 Shell, and the man they call Highway 63 for his number, Gene Upshaw. Upshaw has been in the 2 previous Super Bowls for the Raiders. Kenny King stopped at the 25-yard line, a gain of only 1. You saw Lester Hayes a moment ago on the sidelines being taped. I want to say something about Lester while we have a moment. Hayes has a speech problem. At times stutters, and it's been a very difficult thing for him. And he was misunderstood. Some thought that because of that problem he was quiet, he was cocky, maybe too confident or unfriendly, and he's had to show his talent, his ability on the field of play, and how well he's expressed himself. And I know Lester in the offseason now is going to be working on that speech impediment. We have to admire his talent. Plunkett, 2nd and 9. Too much time, and Chester comes back to get the ball, and it'll be close to a first down at the 33.5. Flag down, and we may have a holding call against Oakland. No, maybe it's a personal foul against the Eagles.
Claude Humphrey picked up the flag and threw it back at the official. That's not a very smart thing to do.
Defense number 87 roughing the passer. First down. Crazy, man.
You saw Humphrey's rebuttal or heard it. You're crazy, man.
That's something else he should be careful of. That second 15 hurts worse than the first.
Well, let's see what he did.
Coming straight across the middle. He's in a little late. Plunkett gets the ball away. And I think what they called the reaching for the helmet there. They're very strict on that. You can't put your hands on the throwing arm of the helmet of the quarterback.
And we can't quite see it from those 2 angles as Chester makes the reception downfield. The veteran Humphrey, the key ingredient to that outstanding defensive record of the Eagles. 11:40 remaining. The clock stopped for the penalty. 24-10. Oakland leading Philadelphia, 4th quarter. Plunkett back to the air. And going for Branch. And Edwards almost with the interception, and Branch did a good job of breaking it up, as he did before when it appeared that Roynell Young was going to intercept, and Branch actually slipped in front of him and stole a touchdown.
And I was just about to say it would appear that the Oakland Raiders have changed their philosophy to a ball control offense. And what does Plunkett do? He goes for the bomb. They won't change their personality, but this high toss, and that was a tentative toss, almost gets them in trouble. Young almost reversing the touchdown grab that Branch had taken. Branch coming across there, almost reversing positions, knocking it down.
Actually, Branch was open, and Plunkett didn't quite get it to him. Good pressure from John Plunkett. 2nd and 10. Out of time. Complete to Chandler. First down at the 29 as Roynell Young made the tackle. And the Raiders are on the march again. A field goal would be almost as important as a touchdown here. 23 yards on that play.
Bobby Chandler turns Roynell Young right around. He was able to do that earlier in the year. Young fighting for that move to the outside, and the veteran Chandler strides openly in there to grab the football.
Bob Chandler, who is the leading receiver in the NFL in the 4-year period from 75 through 78, caught 220 in that 4-year span for the Buffalo Bills, acquired by trade this year from Buffalo. Plunkett again complete at the 25-yard line. To Chandler again. Roynell Young with the tackle. Short yardage, a gain of almost 5. We pause briefly for station identification from New Orleans. This is the NBC Television Network.
This is KYW TV3 in Philadelphia.
Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen at the Superdome. The clock ticking away on Dick Vermille's Philadelphia Eagles. They trail Oakland 24-10. Oakland started with an early 14-0 lead. 14-3 at the half, then 21-3, 24-3, and a touchdown here in the fourth quarter by Philadelphia, pulling them within 14. But the Raiders, as Merlin has pointed out, dominating that line of scrimmage. Van Egan to the 19-yard line, and that's going to be very close to another Oakland first down.
Raiders just absolutely devastating on first down in this second half, managing to mix their plays very carefully. Watch the surge of the offensive line for the Raiders, off very quickly, and they've swept the Eagles back 2 to 3 yards back behind the offensive line of scrimmage. Van Egan has his choice of holes to run into.
Well, around the National Football League, the black-attired Raiders are considered the bad guys. They like that role. They like to be the underdogs. It's been a season of turmoil for them, with even their own fans rebellious at sorts because they want to leave Oakland and go to Los Angeles. They've had to pull together tightly because they are their own best friends, the team members themselves.
I think they draw strength from adversity.
Nicely said. Plunkett dumps it off to Van Egan, and he can't grab the handle. You know that Pete Rozelle will award the Lombardi Trophy, the Super Bowl winner receiving that trophy, to the owner, and that means a Rozelle to Al Davis handoff. And he's already said a lot of publicity about that, but the commissioner said, I award the trophy to the team that has won the Super Bowl, and my differences with the owner Davis are not a factor at that time. But it must be a moment that Mr. Rozelle has not anticipated with a lot of warmth. We'll be covering that, of course. Arthur Whittington, short yardage on second down. John Bunning made the tackle. John Matuzak waiting his turn. Get a chance. We have an interesting comment from the twos regarding his lining up against both Woody Peoples and Jerry Sizemore, as he plays both defensive end and defensive tackle. Dick Vermeil now has to be in the position of hoping for some help from away. The Eagle bubble is about to burst unless they can stop the Raiders here. 8:40 remaining in the fourth quarter. Plunkett looking for 6. Chandler broken up beautifully by Herman Edwards. So Chris Barr comes in for a very important field goal try. If he's successful, the Eagles must score 3 times to win.
Chandler working Herman Edwards as he did earlier. Watch him give a little move to the outside, turns Edwards, but the veteran comes back inside, and at full extension, that's the ball out of the waiting hands of Chandler.
Pretty play. Edwards from San Diego State started at California, where Isaac Curtis, he was transferred away. Dwayne Osteen, the cornerback of the Raiders, a close personal friend. Very important try from 35 yards away by Barr. He's 1 for 2 today. Right down the middle, and good.
Claude Humphrey can't believe he missed it. He got in there clean, and he missed the football.
The Raiders now lead by 17 with 8.5 minutes remaining.
David Dow knows all life insurance companies are not alike. He owns a policy with Northwestern Mutual. They've found a way to increase the face value on permanent policies an average of 14% with no increase in the policy premium. Dave's coverage has increased $6,614. That's just one of the good things that happens to Northwestern policy owners. Shouldn't you be one of them? Northwestern Mutual Life, the usually quiet company.
Harry, you've been gone for hours. Didn't they have a muffler for your car?
I should have gone to Midas.
Did you get a guarantee this time?
I should have gone to Midas.
So how much did you spend?
I should have gone to Midas.
Before you go anywhere else for a muffler, come to Midas, and you won't go anywhere else.
So tell me, Harry, how come you didn't go to Midas?
It pays to Midasize.
On Buck Rogers, a mysterious box transports Buck to the 20th century. Then Blake is back. Back as Joe Dancer, Private Eye, Thursday.
Here's that attempted block again by Humphrey. How close he came.
Humphrey in clean, but Barr gets the ball up quickly. It looks like it goes right between the outstretched arms of Claude Humphrey, and that's the way the Eagle game has gone all day.
27-10 Oakland as Barr kicks it off with only 8.5 minutes left. Hits it well. Billy Campfield. 10, 20, and down at the 22-yard line. Tackle made by number 77, Joe Campbell, acquired from the New Orleans Saints at midseason for a number 7 draft choice. Lenny and John, a lot was said during the week in all of the words written about these two teams about Vermeil's hard charge, the 3-hour workouts, that sort of thing, the intensity, while the Raiders seem so relaxed. What are your feelings now in the fourth quarter?
Well, Dick, I'll tell you, I've been to the Super Bowl twice. The first time we were not able to handle all of the publicity, and when adversity hit, we weren't able to come back. And I think that can happen to a lot of teams. Pittsburgh, after all, is only the team to come here for the first time and win it. And although Philadelphia worked very hard, until you walk through that gate into the field, when you see 75,000 people screaming and yelling here, you know the magnitude of this game. As you said before during this contest, it is a happening. And when adversity does hit, a lot of bad things can happen to a football team. And I think that is what is happening to Philadelphia. Even though they said, yes, we have things under control and we know what to expect down there, until you get there, or here being the case at the Superdome in New Orleans, you really don't know what to expect.
I asked Gene Upshaw yesterday after the workout. I said, Gene, you played in the 2 previous Super Bowls. What can you give the other younger members of your team? He said, the biggest thing is to remind them, just because we won the AFC, that's not enough. Let's not celebrate that. The season isn't over until today. You don't want to celebrate too hard that next to last win. Montgomery, shirt tailed down by Ted Hendricks.
Just an extra comment to add to what you said, Lenny. Sometimes expectations are very important too. And I think the goal that the Eagles set for themselves was to get to the Super Bowl. I think the Oakland Raiders were thinking about getting here and winning the game.
Hendricks, he too with Super Bowl experience with the Raiders and the Colts. Dick Vermeil, time running out, and some of the Eagle fans are nervous. They want Philadelphia to get the ball in the air.
Here it goes.
Complete. At the 40, that'll be a first down. Lester Hayes made the tackle on Charlie Smith. 17-yard play.
One of the problems the Eagles have is that they were constructed as a ball control team. They do not have the explosive system that would allow them to move the ball as quickly as some other teams in the NFL.
That's Dave Browning, the defensive end of the Raiders.
Must have jammed his neck. They're trying to get him a little relief there. Dr. Rosenfeld in front of him, the Raider doctor.
Jaworski approaching a Super Bowl record with 32 passes. The mark is Tarkenton's 35. Complete to Montgomery at the Oakland 41. And the Eagles are hustling into the huddle. 19 yards on that first down. Clock running, 6:45, 6:44 left.
Jaworski angry at not having the signals more quickly. One of the weaknesses of not having a quarterback call his own signals, you have to wait for them to come in.
Good point. You see the frustration on the face of Jaworski. 6:23 as they break huddle. Oakland 27, Philadelphia 10, fourth quarter. Leroy Harris, a strange call. Rod Martin makes the tackle. Hard to believe they're running with a 17-point deficit.
One thing for certain, the Oakland Raiders lined up expecting the pass, You see the signals being made from the sideline. Vermeil trying to get Wilbert Montgomery quickly to the sideline.
Of course, the fact is, Merlin, that if you misfire on a pass, at least, unless it's intercepted, it stops the clock. You misfire on a run, and you've wasted another half minute.
Well, obviously, the clock is their worst enemy now. They need quick scores, not just touchdowns, but quick touchdowns.
2nd and 11. Fumble, and that's going to about do it. The Raiders have recovered. Willie Jones has the football. And now the Raiders start to celebrate. The fans know that this one's going to belong to them with 5.5 left. Another mistake by Philadelphia.
I can't help but reflect on that picture of frustration that we saw moments ago. Jaworski looking to the sideline, angry at not getting the signal. Vermeil angry at not being able to get the help he needs. And then a crucial mistake.
Haste makes waste. 5:30 left. It's Oakland in front by 17. Dick Vermeil, every year he improved this Eagle team. He got them to the Super Bowl. You saw John Madden on a commercial. We want to offer you a comment. Madden told us a few years ago when his team beat Minnesota rather handily in Super Bowl 11. And now Van Egan and the Raiders trying to run out the clock with 5.5 minutes left. Said Madden, he said, the sad thing about the Super Bowl is one team has worked all year long to get here and goes home a loser and joins the other 26. They'll be remembered as losers or forgotten totally. And one team wears that Super Bowl ring. And for the fans of the Eagles, it should be remembered that they had a tremendous year. And they did get to the Super Bowl. They've not had a good day here, but they played an excellent team.
With the kind of organization that Dick Vermeil has set up, they may well be back again next year.
With 4:50 left, Kenny King near midfield, short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and about 3. Jerry Robinson with a tackle. Al Davis and Pete Rozelle. That's going to follow if this continues, and it'll be interesting to hear both the speech made by the commissioner and, well, that's 4 years ago when John Madden was the coach, and Mr. Rozelle presented Mr. Davis with a Lombardi trophy. It'll be interesting to see what Al Davis has to say to the commissioner.
They're all smiling in that picture, and there's a smiling Al Davis. There was thought that, in fact, there was a statement that the players might boo Commissioner Rozelle. I doubt that. I think they're going to be so happy in that locker room that they'll be more celebrating than anything else.
Incomplete. Arthur Whittington to stop the clock, and that'll bring on the kicking team, Ray Guy's first punt of the second half. Now, it's a shame there is that animosity when you consider that that is a very close company, the commissioner and the 28 owners of the National Football League franchises. And now the calls back and forth, the innuendos, allegations, even to name calling. Part of life, however. All cannot be rosy.
Ray Guy getting his first opportunity. In fact, this is the first kick of the second half. Both teams able to move the ball and only being stopped by mistakes or scores.
Wally Henry deep at the 9 for Philadelphia. We'll see if the Eagles come after the punt. 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Snap. Guy sends a nice kick away. Henry at the 11. And dropped inside the 10. Jeff Barnes made the tackle. Good kick by Guy. 39 yards, a -2 on the return. We have a timeout for Philadelphia. They look at the clock. 3:51, all that's left, and they trail by 17.
Guy, even with a bad snap, able to scoop it up and kick the ball away effectively. Great athlete. John Brody, you've been watching the line of scrimmage. Give us your reflection.
Well, I think the things that Oakland knew had to happen did happen, and that's the simplicity of it, Merlin. They knew they had to handle Hairston. They knew they had to handle Johnson, and they have done so. They didn't do so when they lost early in the season 10-7, and they really dominated the line of scrimmage today.
Charlie Smith, but it's broken up. Dwayne Osteen knocked it away and complete. There's 3:46 left. The Raiders 27, the Eagles 10. What a story. The Oakland Raiders, a team picked by many to finish last in that tough AFC Western Division. Most of them like San Diego better, even Seattle, Denver. Dan Pastorini. Wonder what his thoughts are. Broken leg in the 5th game. He's been the forgotten man. They've done very well without him.
The hottest rumor going around this town is that Pastorini has been traded already to Green Bay for Lofton. James Lofton, wide receiver.
That's all Oakland needs is another man like that. Montgomery has a first down but stays inbound. Let's go to John Brody as he examines how that Oakland line has blocked Carl Hairston.
Well, when things happen as easily as they have happened for Oakland, Dick, you have to take a look down in the trenches. Art Shell has been a great player 4 times in the Pro Bowl. Now look at that block. He's blocking against what many consider to be the best defensive lineman in the game. He may not have had that kind of recognition, but the Oakland football team knew how good he was, and he absolutely destroyed him the first time the two teams met. In the middle of the line, Dave Dalby has done the same thing on Johnson. He's gotten some help from Marvin. The 2 guards have played exceptionally helping out, but there just has not been a pass rush.
The Eagles have called, check that, the Raiders, Eagles have called time, their first, and with 3:36 left, it's 27-10, and many feel now up here in the press box that that man will be voted the game's most valuable player, and Hollywood would never buy the script on this guy. Jim Plunkett, the Heisman winner at Stanford, his coach there was Dick Vermeil. He plays with the New England Patriots as a #1 draft choice, takes a beating there, is injured, separated shoulder, can't throw as effectively. Many give him up for lost. He goes to the 49ers, ineffective. Picked up by the Raiders in the last 2 years prior to this one, threw only 15 passes, and only because of an injury to Dan Pastorini does he get his chance this year. Oh, that's Frank Merriwell stuff. He leads his team to the Super Bowl, and now undoubtedly, at least our guess will be, he'll be the most valuable player.
And maybe the nicest postscript to that, he really is a nice man and deserves everything he's gotten in the way of plaudits.
And nice men are losers too. And for Leonard Toews, a tough afternoon. But it was a bright season, and as you said, Merlin, they'll be good again next year. Jaworski, it's deflected, incomplete. Might have been Cedric Hardman, veteran defensive end.
The one thing I like about the Philadelphia Eagles, they've built the base for a strong football team. Dick Vermeil has a staff that reminds me very much of a college coaching staff, a big staff, a teaching staff. And they have built the strength of this team with, as you said, rejects. They do not have the high draft picks, have not had them until this last season. They'll have a full draft this year. And with the influx of good, strong young athletes, continued good coaching, and continued experience, these Eagles are going to have to be reckoned with in the AFC.
Yeah, the Raiders, too. They're the only team with 2 first-round draft picks next spring. Montgomery, short game, and Otis McKinney's tackle keeps him in bounds, and the clock is running. 3:22, 3:21 left. The Eagles will not huddle. 3rd and 5.
Eagles 95!
Incomplete to Carmichael, and a flag down as Jaworski was roughed up. And now Jaworski taking out a couple of Raider linemen and is now helped by his own offensive line. Personal foul against the Raiders, certainly an unnecessary penalty.
I've got to believe that Ben Reif is saying, look, if you want me to call a penalty and protect you, at least give me the courtesy of letting me do it. Penalty flag already down. Jaworski wanted to handle it himself. But I'm sure that's emotion. The Eagles are an emotional team, and I think it's hurt them. They played a highly emotional season. Their preparation for this game, even though Dick Vermeil tried to keep it down, was emotional. And I think that cost them something today. They were a little bit burned out in the early going.
Personal foul, roughing the passer on a defense, number 90. That's a first down.
As we wrap up this National Football League year, our thanks to Commissioner Pete Rozelle and his outstanding league office staff, all their cooperation, kind of the happiness that you can share with the winning team, and also ambivalent feelings. Kind of sad to say goodbye for another year. It's been an outstanding season. We thank everyone for their incredibly fine support. Jaworski, intercepted. Rod Martin, can you believe it? 3 interceptions today be a Super Bowl record, and how appropriate. 3 interceptions for Martin, 2:50 left. It's academic. The Raiders are about to win Super Bowl 15. He has been waiting for that moment. Running out the clock, Van Egan with 2:45, 2:44 left. Dennis Harrison made the tackle for the Eagles. And timeout called by the Philadelphia Eagles. That face says it all. The record is most attempts, not the 3 interceptions. You'll remember Rod Martin's name. Jim Plunkett on the other hand. The Raiders not showing much emotion, but that's really to be expected. This is an incredible group.
Being around their practice, and people say, how can you fit in with them? They're bandits. They're the bad guys. They're really not. They're a group of very nice people. They love to court the image of bandits. They wear the black. They wear that Raider badge proudly. But they handle things from within. They take care of each other. They have fine leadership, veteran leadership on their team. Tom Flores certainly has not received the kind of credit he deserves for his role in what these Raiders have done this year. But that man right there has had quite a bit to do with it, too. Al Davis.
And you have to be happy with that man, what's happening inside him, Tom Flores. What a story. Talk about Cinderella stories. Chicano worked 6, 7 years old in the fields, became a fine athlete, on to Pacific, then a fine pro career, and now maybe the most important moment in his life. We'll find that out as well from Brian at the postgame show. Dennis Harrison again meets Mark Van Egan, and again the Eagles call timeout their last of the game. I don't know if miracles that big can fit inside the Superdome, but that's all Philadelphia can hope for now, and they'll have the 2-minute timeout. No, there wasn't a timeout call. They're running the clock now. We're televising this game all over the world, and there's from the Republic of Mexico. Welcome, gentlemen, to New Orleans. Of course, there's so many telecasts going around the world, including this one. Van Egan has what appears to be a first down, and if so, that should just about wrap it up. 2-minute warning is given. 2 minutes left. Super Bowl 15. Time to the Raiders, and has a bad taste for the Eagles. 2 minutes to left. It won't be remembered as one of the great Super Bowls, but it will be one we'll look back on as a long shot on the board, winning it all, and the first team to ever win 4 games in the Super Bowl in the playoffs. The Raiders start to enjoy. 2 minutes to go. Some of the Raiders have already gone to the locker room. On first down, Derek Jensen stays in bounds, and the clock will run unless the Eagles spend their final timeout. We showed you the contingent from Mexico televising the game back to their country. The other foreign broadcasters here, from Australia to England, Japan with their own crew, Philippines, Saudi Arabia, West Germany, and of course on American Forces Television around the world, this telecast is being shown. 1:20 left. Jensen to the 20-yard line. Derek Jensen from the University of Texas, Arlington. Well, for Philadelphia, the Phillies won the World Series. 76ers lost in the finals of the NBA to the Lakers. The Flyers lost in the Stanley Cup Finals to the New York Islanders. And the Eagles will lose today in the Super Bowl. But what a year for the city of brotherly love. And, of course, that'll be the site of the NCAA basketball championships, and you'll see that here on NBC in March. That's how much money the Raiders will win. Actually, more than the Eagles had they won, because they got $3,000 for that first wild card game. $35,000, a nice little bonus for the Raiders. 40 seconds left. Jensen with a first down, and I I don't believe the Raiders will have to run another play. We want to thank Dennis Mnuchin and Bruce Jolish, our player identification personnel, Steve Vance, Jimmy Burns, statistician Joe Costanza, NBC's director Ted Nathanson, our executive producer Don Olmeyer, producers Larry Cirillo, George Finkel, all the engineers and cameramen. 15 cameras here. The final seconds tick away. Jim Plunkett leads the Oakland Raiders to Super Bowl 15 victory, and Plunkett is announced as the most valuable player. The final score, Oakland 27, Philadelphia 10. Ted Hendricks, one of his greatest seasons. The free spirit of the Raiders. And Jim Plunkett, a man who almost quit. He seriously considered giving it up and talked into staying by Al Davis. And Jim Plunkett takes such a wonderful bow. Most valuable player. Joe Campbell, he left New Orleans. Talk about an escape. The Saints won one. He has a Super Bowl ring.
Deny the Raiders took this one the hard way. They fought the long road against all the odds. An underdog in each of the games they played. The cold field and the icy field in Cleveland. Everyone said they can't win up there. They went to San Diego, took a victory there, and then they came here and won this final game, this Super Bowl 15.
Only after starting in the wild card game against Houston and winning at home as an underdog. So this country for so many years has been known to cheer for the underdog. For many, it was tough to root for Oakland, and they liked that role. The underdogs have prevailed. I wonder about Jim Plunkett's mother. His father is deceased. His mother has been blind since 20 years of age, and listen to this game today. The courage she gave this young man. A lot of lovely stories. Plunkett joins his teammates. The Raiders have won Super Bowl 15, and we'll talk to the winners in just a moment.